Yo, what's up, guys? We're going to be going through some bets on PrizePicks as well as Underdog Fantasy. Not that, a bit of a losing streak on Underdog Fantasy. I assume we'll bounce back. PrizePicks, we cashed the taco. Greenlaw went under 8.5 assists, so that helped us out. And then we have a pretty good start to, honestly, a lot of these NFL picks that we locked in. Not perfect, but Okereke over 7.5 tackles plus assists. Brock Purdy under 8.5 rushing yards. He had -1 rushing yard. So anyways, we have a pretty good start. We also had Brock Purdy on ParlayPlay. So we might as well look for some more plays. And let me just make sure, my screen isn't paused again. But no, we're good to go. So another thing to mention is I saw someone talking about, so this play I gave out on the live stream, unfortunately Moody, we almost went 6 for 6. 6 for 6 on ParlayPlay would have been $20 to win 500. So we're stuck with 50. We only get 2.5x because we missed the last leg. But a lot of people like betting McCaffrey's over, I think the line was 78.5. If you look at this guy, who I think he's the head of PR at BetMGM. You can see here, it's where is it? Where is McCaffrey? Here. Nope. McCaffrey. Where is it? It's somewhere here, but long story short, he had a tweet about, essentially everyone betting McCaffrey over 77.5 yards. God, this guy tweets a lot. But anyways, long story short is you can see on ParlayPlay, we got him under 87.5 if you were on the stream. So those extra 9 yards of value, anyone who bet him under 77.5, obviously you would have lost. He had 85 yards. So getting that value early in the week, 10 yards, relative to the rest of the market, it really matters. So let's start building a PrizePick slip. Might as well. In this play, I think we locked in earlier. We did. Santos over 4.5 kicking points. So if you take a look here, we can take a look at Santos. And we can also we can go to the Fantasy Optimizer. And we can kind of take a look at a bunch of these plays that are available. So again, the Fantasy Optimizer is pretty simple. All this betting tool is going to do is, try to point out discrepancies on PrizePicks. So for example, one play I really like on PrizePicks is right here. You can see it would be Santos over 4.5 kicking points. So again, the way that PrizePicks works, right, is they have fixed payouts. They don't change your payout based on you selecting over versus under. So the strategy for beating them is really simple. Right? When you go through the math, if you want to get more mathematical about it, I can actually share this this little spreadsheet. What's up, guys? 79.5, whatever, you get the point. Yeah, ideally you don't want to tail ParlayPlay to Underdog just because ParlayPlay has slightly better payouts than Underdog Fantasy. So ideally you're placing the picks on ParlayPlay because they have a little bit better payouts. But basically on PrizePicks, right, all you have to do to make money playing 5 flex plays, if you go through the math, kind of behind PrizePicks, behind a 5-pick flex play, all you got to do to make money playing 5-pick flex plays is win your over-unders above 54.25% of the time. Right? So the way that PrizePicks gets most people, the reason most people can't make money on PrizePicks is they don't have an advantage, right? If you don't have an edge, if you don't have an advantage, you picking over-unders is going to be like you flipping a coin. You're going to be 50-50 to get these more or less correctly. If you have no advantage, you're going to get these right 50% of the time. And if you're only winning them 50% of the time, you're going to get smoked. You're going to lose a lot of money on PrizePicks, ROI of negative 25%. When you need to hit your picks, 54.25% of the time. So the way you do that is you compare the lines on PrizePicks. It's very simple to those on the sportsbook. So for Santos, right, every sportsbook has his over heavily favored. So every book is telling us, yo, this guy's a lot more likely to go over as opposed to under, which is why this is a play winning above 54.25% of the time. And it's good to go in a PrizePicks entry, right? Like, why would we take Santos's under and get a 3x payout when we can take his over and get a 3x payout, and the over is the more likely outcome, right? According to every sports book. You can see every single book, Pinnacle right here, a pretty sharp, sophisticated bookmaker. All these books have his over favored. So you can see here, a lot of these plays we locked in earlier, like everyone has opinions on Justin Jefferson, obviously top wide receiver probably in the league. But every sports book is saying he's more likely to go under 7.5 receptions as opposed to over, right? And if you want to get Justin Jefferson to go over, you should at least get him plus 110 odds, not minus 119 on PrizePicks. So PrizePicks, PrizePicks is a parlay only website, right? You can't place straight bets. But what you can do is you can kind of convert what would the odds on PrizePicks be, given that they're giving you a 3x payout for any 2-pick parlay. Any 2-pick parlay you create on PrizePicks, you're getting a 3x payout, right? So what you can do is you can back out okay, what would the odds be on PrizePicks? And it would be minus 119. So long story short, there's value on Jefferson's under, value on Tyler Lockett's under. A lot of different NFL plays that we could go with, but let me just reload this, and we can kind of take a look at CSGO. I don't know. We can see what else is out there. So, damn. So we can see we can also see what touchdown props are available. Pass plus rush plus receiving TDs, if any of them are new. So again, I've gone through this before too, but if you look at most of these sports books, so for example, if you go to Fliff, so this betting tool right here is called the Sportsbook screen. It just shows you where all books are setting their lines. So if we go to player touchdowns, right, and you look at Bijan, there were, at least last week, a lot of good touchdown lines. You can see every sports book. And again, don't keep including this play if you don't want to. But you can see every book has Bijan heavily favored to go under. A lot of these books only have one-way markets. So Caesars, they don't show you a price. They don't show you odds on Bijan Robinson to not score a touchdown. They only show you odds on him to score a touchdown. Right? It's a one-way market. So they tend to add more vig to their markets, right? Because, for example, it's a little less clear. When you're only showing someone one side of the market, it's a little less clear if the odds are good or not, right? If they had their market minus 150 for the over and the under, everyone would be like, wow, that's crazy. They're juicing their markets a lot. But when you only offer one side of the market, it's not as clear. But anyways, you can see right here, all the books have Bijan with two-way markets, Barstool, Fliff. They all have Bijan heavily favored to not score a touchdown. And again, all these books, billion-dollar companies who have invested a lot of money in their ability to set lines. They have better data feeds than you and I have. They have better models, all that type of stuff. It's their full-time job to kind of know how to set these lines. So anyways, what we can do is we can go to CSGO. And we can kind of take a look at CSGO. So CSGO kind of sucks in some ways because there's just less, you kind of have less data points just on where lines should be set and stuff like that. Less books post player prop lines for CSGO compared to the NFL. So we should have higher confidence when we're placing our NFL bets. But take a look at this play. This play is kind of interesting. So we got two NFL plays, and we can go to CSGO. And I really do like this Bijan play, so feel free to rock with it. Esports, lit sport to bet on. It's a great sport to bet on. Oh, God, I hope the screen didn't freeze. Nico Collins, TD. Anyways, what's up, guys? Let's take a look. Let's finish out building this slip really quickly. I just wanted to make sure the screen didn't freeze again, like the earlier live stream. But you look at this guy, right, Kenzie. PrizePicks has his line at 38, right? You have two other fantasy sites, Underdog and JockMKT, who are both saying no, his line should be at 40, right? Those are data points, sources of it. Like, you want to consider that when you're placing your bet. Obviously, it would be the worst bet of all time to take him under 38 on PrizePicks when you can get him, under 40. Right? You're getting ripped off. Like, it's very simple. If you're getting ripped off, it's like trying to be a day trader if, you're just getting 30% worse prices than everyone. You're never going to make money. But you can see here, Hot Streak, they have his line at 39.5, so they also have his line higher. This little shitty sports book right here, Hot Streak, they have his line higher at 39.5, and they have the over as the favored or the juiced outcome. So you can see the line movements on this sportsbook screen. They're kind of highlighted in red and green. So you can see Hot Streak just moved his line higher from 38.5 to 39.5. So, like, the market has taken him higher, but PrizePicks is still asleep at the wheel at 38. So again, we're kind of like, following the market. But anyways, like, a lot of people, a lot of people think, the sports books are dumb. Like, I bet they don't know, Nick Chubb got injured. And it's like, you can literally see on all these books, this is when Nick Chubb got injured, right? The Browns went from minus 215 in week 3 against the Titans. They were literally playing. All the books locked their odds and then open them around, like minus 160, minus 150-ish. So the market is always reacting to new information, lineup changes, injuries, all that sort of stuff. Which is why, like, people who are just like, oh, it's cold and it's snowing, I'm going to take the under. It's like the market already knows that. It's already reflected in the odds. And if other people know it, if it's public information, like, books move around their lines due to where action's coming in. So you can see initially, once Chubb got injured, lines ripped from like minus 215 to minus 148. But then you can see, like, lines have been moving back towards the Browns. The market overreacted a bit, and now people are still like, oh, the Browns are still pretty big favorites to win this game against the Titans. But anyways, what we can do is go here. Let's lock in a slip, guys. So we got Kenzie. We're looking for 6 picks. It's not like these are straight bets. This takes a little more work. Chill out. But anyways, we can go to JNT next. So this play seems decent, so why don't we lock in this? We can speed it up a little. And that can be our second pick. And then again, you got Tyler Lockett and you got Justin Jefferson. Ideally, though, sometimes we can find some positive correlation. We can find players. So Jefferson we took in the last one. So we can do Lockett under. Again, it's very simple. On PrizePicks, if you go through the math behind PrizePicks, you're going to make money on PrizePicks. All you got to do is win over 54.25% of your player props. All books have Tyler Lockett heavily favored to go under, right? So that seems like a great play to go with. So we can go with Tyler Lockett's under. I took Jefferson earlier. If you want to take Jefferson again, you can take him again. So what else do we want to look at? So we got headshot lines up. Freeze, CSGO. We can see here. I'm trying to add these. So Freeze. Underdog has Freeze's line at 15.5, it looks like. PrizePicks is at 13.5. So this is like, you can see ParlayPlay has his line at 14. So this is crazy, right? That's like a big discrepancy. I mean, it's crazy. You would never see like Anthony Davis's rebound line at 15.5 on one book and then at 13.5 on another book. So we want the second game, I believe. We can go here. We can go to CSGO and we can take a look very quickly. And then we can lock in our slip. So here we have a 5-pick slip. Kind of sucks. No correlation on this play, but maybe we could find some. I mean, Here you can see Justin Fields. There's this huge discrepancy between PrizePicks has his line at 171.5 passing yards. FanDuel's at 182.5. Like, that's crazy. That's a huge discrepancy. Josh Allen over 1.5 passing touchdowns. There's a lot more bets, we can kind of go through. Bo Collins under 62.5. Damn, I kind of like this too. So let's go here. Let's go to college football. So again, the juice matters as well. So if you don't have college football legal in your state, whatever, you can just like flip this, skip it over. But this will be the first play I lock in. And again, like, I'd love to slam it for $500, but PrizePicks is going to tell me max bet size is $10. So we'll go over to Underdog in a sec just because PrizePicks has the shitty betting limits. But here's the first 5-pick flex play on PrizePicks. If you want to tail it, negative correlation with Freeze and Kenzie. What? Not in the same slip. I'm not including Freeze in the same slip. But anyways, here's the first play on PrizePicks if you want to, pause it. So if we look at this play on Bo Collins, right, if we look at receiving yards, it's like, very logical, data-driven sports betting. It's like, okay, PrizePicks has his line at 62.5. All these other books, in general, lower, 58.5. DraftKings, a $10 billion company, they have a pretty good model over at DraftKings. They not only have his line lower at 61.5, but they have the under heavily juiced, right? They have the under as the heavily favored outcome. The under is a minus 140 favorite, so a really big favorite. So, all that makes us really like the under 62.5 receiving yards for Bo Collins. So anyways, we can keep some of these picks. We can go to Underdog Fantasy next, though. Again, depending on where you're located, I say this in every video, but you may have different sports books available. I love FanDuel. I use it all the time when I'm at home in Virginia, but I'm not currently in Virginia. But there's a lot of good bets on FanDuel. Like this play looks like a crazy discrepancy. Stanford plus 285 against Arizona. You can see every book, it looks like, has been dropping odds. On Stanford's first half money line, FanDuel giving you plus 285. Rest of the market around plus 240. Like, these are all things you want to consider, when you're making your bets. Anyways, Bears Chiefs, right? This play seems solid. What's happening to the lines? You can kind of like follow the line movements too. You can pull up a little chart. A lot of bets in general. Again, too, like a lot of these books have good promos depending on where you're located. So like DraftKings has a risk-free bet, right? No sweat bet. You get one for Thursday, Sunday, and Monday. So your bet loses, you get your money back. And you can read more about it in the terms. But again, this is the easiest money we're going to make sports betting, right? Like, easiest money we're going to make is these, like Taco Tuesday, right? The extra value we're getting. This is another example of a play. This wouldn't have cashed, right? Like Zach Gallen's original line was 5.5 strikeouts, right? So the added value from the promo, even though it wasn't a ton of value, I think it was 5.5 to 4.5, it makes a big difference long term in terms of making money. Anyways, let's go to Underdog Fantasy. And you can see there's some big discrepancies between like, I guess college football passing attempts lines. So maybe if you have an opinion on this player, feel free to like bet it. So this is college football. I don't know anything about this guy, Ben Bryant. JockMKT has his line at 24. So if you really like him, maybe get him to go over on JockMKT. If you really like him to go under. But again, not a bunch of books post player passing attempt lines. So there's not a ton of like, it's hard to know like, okay, like which side is the good side, which book is screwing up here. So what we can do is let's get rid of some of these combo props. We recently added them. Again, combo props they're legal in only certain states. And I think some states you can also only do combo props. But in general, I skip over these plays where it's just a discrepancy between like, two sports books because it's harder, unless you're middle betting it, because it's harder to know, like, okay, like which side of the market is off. But what we could do is we could go here. We could look at these headshot lines because I think there was a pretty good play. So freeze, right? Like this play on freeze. It's like, okay, Underdog has his line at 15.5. Where does PrizePicks have his line? So if we go back to CSGO, let's take a look. Right, PrizePicks has his line at 14. And this is for the second game, right? So PrizePicks has his line at 13.5. I apologize, right? Underdog, or we want to take this, actually. Underdog has his line at 15. PrizePicks has his line at 13.5. These guys go hard in esports. They all have double headers. So, right, big discrepancy, 13.5 versus 15. Like, this is what's great about esports is there's just tons of inefficiencies in the market. The market's super fragmented. There's a ton of games, and these books screw up their lines. And then you can see Freeze's line is 14 on ParlayPlay, right? So literally, there's not a ton of data points, but clearly there's value somewhere. 15 versus 13.5 is a massive difference. So, it's like 10%. So that's a big discrepancy in where these books are setting their lines. So this can be the first play we go with. And then we can kind of take a look at we can try to see if there's anything else that we fall in love with. So like Koala, right? CSGO. It seems like the most random, combination of picks of all time. But we have freeze under 15, and it's like, okay. And then let's go over to player kills for Koala. And let's see if we can find some value here. So again, like what kind of sucks about esports is sometimes Hot Streak, which is a sports book, they're one of the only books, at least in the US, that posts CSGO, like esports player prop lines. So in general, it's like here, for this player Koala, it seems like Underdog Fantasy has their line too high, but you only have, two other data points, PrizePicks and JockMKT. And again, if you're just tuning in, here's the play we locked in on PrizePicks. I'm sure we'll have more PrizePicks here in a bit, but they limited me to $10. So not as excited about doing a ton of PrizePicks slips. Anyways, what we can do is we can go back here. So we could go with this play Koala, but again, like it would be nice if we had more data points all saying the same thing, so we can kind of just like, we can kind of just like take a look at what other plays are available. Justin Jefferson under 7.5 receptions. Again, this is a play. It like PrizePicks and Underdog Fantasy, they work in very similar ways. There's small differences between platforms. Underdog Fantasy, they give you a 6x payout for 3-pick entries. PrizePicks is only 5x. If we just remove, some of these picks, they're only a 5x payout. So these books have some differences from one another. But in general, they're pretty similar. They don't change your payout based on you selecting, over versus under. Any 3-pick parlay you create on PrizePicks, you're going to be getting a 5x payout. Any 3-pick entry you make on Underdog, you're getting a 6x payout. So we have one really good pick, freeze under 15. But let's find some more on Underdog. So we can go with Justin Jefferson, under 7.5 receptions. Again, very simple strategy. Everyone loves Justin Jefferson, but it's clear as day that the market has him heavily favored to go under, right? Like, I mean, it's the same thing last week. It was the same thing last week. It was like, like I've said this before, but it's like A.J. Dillon's going to score a touchdown. Jamar Chase is going to score a touchdown. It's like, I don't let my emotions get in the way, right? Like anyone watching sports has no correlation to being a good sports bettor. It's really just about understanding the data, right? Everyone who bets on sports watches sports, and the sports books are in business. Having a knowledge of sports doesn't do anything. So anyways, if we go here, what we can do is we can take a look at Justin Jefferson. So why is this play so good, right? Why is this play? So on Underdog, it's basically the same as PrizePicks. You got to win your picks. Like on Underdog, it's a little bit higher, 55% of the time to be profitable. So if you look at Justin Jefferson, what you're going to notice is all the sports books have him heavily favored to go under, right? So if you go to receptions, where the hell is receptions here? Receiving. Total receptions, right? Justin Jefferson, a little weird. I'm not sure why they have the under ahead of their over. I'm used to seeing over then under, but they have the under, minus 151. So the under is a favorite, right? And again, like there's different levels of favorite. Like I've explained this before, like minus 120 favorite isn't that big of a favorite. Minus 400 favorite is a big favorite, right? Like this weekend, it's like, okay, like, the Jaguars are big favorites against the Texans. Whereas like the Patriots are small favorites against the Jets. The Vikings are small favorites against the Chargers. Minus 200 means 2-1 betting favorite. So we want to see things that are big, favorites, right? Anyways, let's go to Jefferson. Under 7.5 receptions. And then what we can do is we can take a look at some of these other esports plays. D1 Ledez, right? We can take a look at him. Just trying to find some plays with value. Nope. So let's go here. We can kind of take a look. So let's take a look here. I mean, not a ton of CSGO for tomorrow. I was hoping for a little more, but so like here, right, it's like, very similar. It's like you got 3 independent data points all telling you Underdog has their line too high, right? And again, like these lines are always moving based on where action's coming into the market. So here's what I'm going to go with. None of these players are in the same game. There's no correlation to worry about. 3-pick entry, for a 6x payout, all unders. If you want to tail it, again, sometimes they move these lines quickly. So if you want to tail it, go ahead and lock it in because sometimes these lines move quickly. Freeze is probably the best play. Again, it's like his line is 14. What you could do is you could middle bet this if you wanted to, right? Like I've explained this before too. My laundry's done. But anyways, what you could do is you could middle bet this, right? You could take this homie to go over 13.5, right? This is a crazy discrepancy. Like I'm not taking an opinion. If you wanted to, you could middle bet this. It is over 13.5 on PrizePicks, under 15 on Underdog. If he has 14 headshots, you win your over 13.5 on PrizePicks. You win your under 15 on Underdog Fantasy. If he has 15 headshots, you'll push on Underdog, and you'll win your over 13.5. And again, like, his line is centered around, like, 15 headshots. So, like, those are the most likely amount of headshots he has. He's not going to have 100 headshots. So, like, 14 and 15 are pretty key numbers. Just like in football, like a game ending by 6 or 7 points, like those are key numbers. The same thing here, like what a player's line is centered around is kind of like a key number. But anyways, we'll lock this in right here. Shit, I've already hit my limit on Justin Jefferson. So I'm going to need a new pick. So what we can do is we can go here. Well, actually, let's take a look at Bo Collin receptions. So we can go here. And then we can go back to PrizePicks. And hopefully we can just crank out some plays. Honestly, so this seems solid. Whoa. I actually really like this. I really like this. So this seems solid, right? Jock Market has his line at 5, right? But again, like you're going to see Fliff and Fanatics, not a ton of sports books post receptions lines for college football. But you'll see they both have, Bo Collins heavily favored to go over 4.5 receptions. So it's just like PrizePicks, right? So the reason this isn't showing up on the fantasy optimizer of OddsJam is there's not enough data points, right? So like when you look at this EV tool and things like that, is for Fliff, for, PrizePicks, Underdog Fantasy, is it requires there to be a bunch of sports books, at least like 5 or something like that, posting lines to be enough, to have enough confidence to say, hey, all of these sports books think that PrizePicks is slipping up here, and this bet on Cairo Santos is good, right? All these books have their own models. They're all setting lines, moving around lines independently. So more data points all telling you the same thing are it's better. So for this play on Bo Collins, you can see like 2 sports books, only Fanatics and Fliff are like, he's a lot more likely to go over 4.5 receptions as opposed to under. So we'll lock in that, and that'll be our CSGO play of the day. And then we can go back to PrizePicks, but I'm just going to get my drink. So we have a 3-pick on Underdog. Underdog, I get $100 max betting limits. Doesn't really matter what sport you're betting on. I'm betting on, I always am getting the $100 max betting limit. But let's go back to PrizePicks, and if anyone has questions or anything, you can feel free to drop them in, or you can feel free to email me anytime as well. But we can go back here, and let's go to PrizePicks, and let's just try to fire off some more plays. So they moved this play on Kenzie, okay? So if you wanted to, again, you could middle this play on Freeze, but I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to take the side on Underdog. Again, ParlayPlay has his line lower too at 14. So it seems like they're the side screwing up. We can go back here to their NFL lines. Maybe they're messing up some NFL lines as well. A lot of these players we checked, nah, they're not really messing up any NFL lines. It seems like really just PrizePicks. It's PrizePicks with Bijan, right? We were all over Bijan last weekend, and we'll be all over him probably again this week. I mean, granted, I'm not able to bet a lot on it, right? But regardless, it's a really good play. So you can do the same thing for other players, right? So like if you go to NFL player touchdowns, is Bijan, he's a pretty big favorite, right, to not score, right? Fliff has him minus 165 to not score. The score is minus 150. Barstool minus 150. So, like, pretty big favorite to not score. As you can see, Jefferson is slightly favored, only very slight juice to not score. So it's not a player prop winning above 54.25% of the time. Just looking at this sportsbook screen on OddsJam, it's not a big enough of a line discrepancy that necessarily we want to bet. But what other plays looked good? I mean, honestly, as crazy as it sounds, because I missed out on $20K last weekend from this play on Tyreek Hill, is Tyreek Hill does look good as well. Him not to score a touchdown. You can see most of the books have him pretty heavily favored to go under. What about Kenneth Walker? It seems like the best TD play, if you want to take an under, the best TD play would probably be Bijan. Really Bijan. That's where the real value is. Some of these other plays like Kenneth Walker, Tyreek Hill look a little good, but Bijan's the really good play. So anyways, what up, guys? Week 1, the sports books know that. Also, the market knows it, right? Like, someone just commented Justin Jefferson had this many receptions week 1 and week 2. It's like, it's already baked into the market, right? Like, the sports books, the market knows, right? It's like, it's the exact same thing we just explained with, like, Nick Chubb's injured. Bet the Titans. It's like the sports books know, the market knows, other sports bettors know. So like that's reflected in the market. The same way if a company has a really good earnings report and they make a lot of money, the price of the stock will go up because they made a lot of money, right? And the company's doing well, the company's successful. So like the market reflects new information, you know. So anyways, what we can do is we can, oh baby. So we got some PrizePicks. We got some more PrizePicks showing up. So what we can do, Josh Allen rushing yards. This play seems decent. I think we already have it on ParlayPlay. I think we already have something with Josh Allen rushing yards. Over 29.5 rushing yards. So Brock Purdy was a play I gave out on Twitter yesterday, but if you take a look at Josh Allen, I mean, I'm already on this play on ParlayPlay. But ParlayPlay, they have pretty low betting limits, only $60 per player. But if you go here to player rushing yards and you put in Josh Allen, you know, you can see in general, right, books have his line, like, especially some of the bigger sports books, Pinnacle, right, Caesars, DraftKings, they have his line at 30.5. Whoops. So let's go back here. Right, they have his line at 30.5 with the over favored, right? Like DraftKings has the over favored and they have the line higher. So that makes it seem like the over 29.5 is pretty good. But again, like I already have this play, but if you like it, it seems like that's a decent play with value. But I'm already on it on ParlayPlay. And it's not like the most insane play in the world, so I'm fine with skipping it. So we can look at, you know, WNBA player points. It's the WNBA playoffs. Whoa. So here, it actually seems like the move is middle. Oh my God. So what you could do is if you use FanDuel and DraftKings, is this right? So let's go to the Liberty game. I mean, sometimes the things you just stumble upon, right? So I'm just literally looking at the sportsbook screen. And it's all just data. Like, there's nothing complicated. Like, a middle bet, you're essentially like buying a stock at $16.50. Or sorry, you're buying the stock at $13.50 on DraftKings. Looks like they're moving their lines around a bit. And then you're selling it on FanDuel at $16.50. So, if you look at this girl, Betnijah Laney, FanDuel has her line at 16.5 points, right? Like, DraftKings has her line at, so if you take a look at DraftKings and we go to player points, where do they have her line? I don't even see it. But if we go to PrizePicks, they have it up. There's this huge gap, right? Like, so if you go here, you can see PrizePicks has her line at 14.5. So what you could do, you know, I'm just throwing out options. You could hit her over 14.5 in a PrizePicks slip, get her under 16.5 on FanDuel. You found this huge discrepancy in the market for WNBA. And then if she has 15 or 16 points, you're going to win both bets, right? That's a huge gap, right? Like, you would never see this in the NBA, like LeBron's point line at 18 versus 20. Like, that's not going to happen. Really only in, you know, these more niche sports that the books don't really keep that close of an eye on. So what other plays were we trying to look at? Damn. So this is like, you know, absolutely crazy middle betting opportunity. On DraftKings, it's even better, $13.50, but I'm not sure if it's, you know, only allowed in certain states or I'm not sure. But anyways, we can go back here to CSGO. And we can take a look at some of these plays, you know, so maybe we can find some more CSGO plays to go with. And again, you could middle this play on freeze. You know, Underdog had his line at 15. They came down from 15.5. PrizePicks has his line at 13.50. Jefferson under 7.5 receptions. We already have this play on Cairo Santos. Josh Allen over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Again, pretty simple strategy. All the books have his over heavily favored. right? So that seems like a pretty good play to go with. PrizePicks is a platform. They don't change your payout based on you selecting over versus under. So what we can do too is we can take a look at here, Cam Thatcher, passing yards. It's saying that we should take the over. So if we go here and we just like take a look at player passing yards, we can kind of check out the market and, you know, try to use all that information to make a good bet. So PrizePicks has the line at 180.5. All the other books, I mean, you literally have dozens of data points. All these sports books, a lot of them multi-billion-dollar companies, really sophisticated models, all setting the line higher, right? So it seems like a decent edge. And again, like these things don't seem like a big deal, right? Like, again, they never seem like a big deal. You know, getting McCaffrey, where's McCaffrey? Getting McCaffrey under 87.5 versus under like 79.5 yards. But they really matter long term, right? Like, sometimes you have some close calls, right? Even this play on drop, right? We slashed his line from 31.5 to 30.5. At 31.5, it would have been a really close call. He ended up with 32. So like these yards where the distribution is centered around that line, especially, are very impactful. So we can go back here and we can go to Cam Francher. What? Fancher. So we can take a look here. And again, like everything is baked into the market. Like a lot of people will be like, oh, here's what this player did last game. It's baked into the market. Here's what the weather is. Baked into the market. This player got injured. Baked into the market. Right? And if it weren't, right, you got to remember that people, even if the sports books didn't react, didn't like have injury feeds, their lines would still move due to it. Because what would happen is Nick Chubb would get injured. People would see the Browns were minus 215 before he was injured. Then everyone would bet the Titans. And the line would move towards the Titans, right? Just like the price of a stock changes due to supply and demand. It's the same thing in sports betting. Like the books move around lines due to where action's coming in. They're not fucking stupid. But anyways, we can go back here. And we can kind of take a look. Josh Allen over 1.5 passing touchdowns. That play seems decent. We already have it in some slips, though. So maybe we can find... So, like, here's some more headshot lines. So we can take a look at headshot lines. Because why not? So you can see Underdog has the line at what? 13? Something like that. Underdog has the line at 11.5. ParlayPlay has the line at 12. PrizePicks, if we go to CSGO... Like, these are big discrepancies. You know, PrizePicks has the line at 13. That's a big discrepancy. So it seems like PrizePicks is more than, you know, PrizePicks is kind of the one screwing up this headshot line. So we can take that one. And then we can take a look at one final, you know, headshot line. PrizePicks 17, Underdog 18.5. PrizePicks 17, Underdog 18.5. So we can take a look here. Not available. But anyways, we have 4 picks. Let's find 1 or 2 more to go with on PrizePicks. You know, so again, there's some more, you know, line discrepancies in college football. Most bets suck. I say that in every video, but like it seems like we're just looking, we're finding all these discrepancies in the market. But most bets suck, right? Like Underdog has tens of thousands of lines available. We're really looking for those 3, you know, rare betting opportunities where they're actually screwing up a line big time and we can get an edge. So anyways, we have 4 picks. We could go with 1 more. You know, Tyler Lockett, whatever. Sometimes you can find some good, you know, correlated plays or something like that. Harrison Butker over 7.5 kicking points. You know, Dante Jackson over 3.5 tackles plus assists. Again, very simple strategy. PrizePicks doesn't change your payout based on you selecting over versus under. So if you take a look here, you know, you'll see every sportsbook has him heavily favored to go over 3.5 tackles plus assists. Caesars has that minus 142. So all the books are telling you, hey, he's more likely to go over as opposed to under. But anyways, maybe we go to this play on Mitch Griffiths. And this will be college football. And let's take a look here. So now we have a 5-pick slip. We could add a 6 slip, a 6-pick, just in case anyone doesn't have, if anyone doesn't have access to, these, there's a lot of esports plays though. So we can go back here, we can go to CSGO and we can take a look. Just take a peek at where are the lines, right? Slacks. So I'm not sure if we're looking at the first game or the second game. Then we got TMB. I mean, you can kind of look through this stuff too. You can look through it manually if you want to. Sometimes you can, find really big. The whole point of OddsJam is just process all this data, tens of thousands of lines, per sportsbook, and try to help you find that value easier, right? Just kind of like save time thing. So like this play seems decent. Yep is over 33. Other sportsbooks have his line at 34.5. I'm not sure why Hot Streak has a different team he's playing against, since it seems like they only play one game tomorrow. But regardless, they have his line at 33.5. But anyways, let's just go here. Let's go to CSGO. And this seems like a decent play to go with. Just kind of researching around, finding value in the market. Are any of these plays in the same game? So no, none of these plays are in the same game. We're good to go. So we can lock it in for, they're going to give me a max of $10. Classic PrizePicks. And we can lock it in. Bijan, no TD. Probably the top 2 plays are the NFL plays. I mean, some of the esports value is good, but anyways. Check rushing attempts, really good value. Mahomes over 3.5 rushing attempts. Anyways, we can take a look at Fliff as well. Where's the value on Fliff? So let's get rid of PrizePicks Underdog. I mean, Royals under 3.5 team total. You can see here. I'll actually lock this bet in now. I think I can just switch my computer to show as opposed to just Chrome. It should show my entire computer. So let's try this out. So if I go here, that should work. So now we got the Royals under 3.5. I mean, it's clear as day, right? Like all these other sports books are saying, nope, the Royals are a lot. And you can see lines are ripping towards the Royals going under. Caesars just plummeted the odds from minus 120 to minus 150-ish. So, like the way I kind of view it is it's kind of like seeing a stock, if again, the stock market's too efficient. So when you think about the price of a stock, this classic example I always go back to, Facebook. But like you're going to see the same price for Facebook on Fidelity, E-Trade, Robinhood. What's crazy about sports betting is the exact same bet has different prices. Right? It's like going into a store and seeing something's the different prices, right? The same item just has all these different price tags. And it's kind of easy to tell, like, okay, like what bet has value, stuff like that. But anyways, let's move quickly. Let's get down this bet on Fliff. It should show my screen. Anyways, hopefully you can see my screen. But regardless, if not, I'm going to lock this in. Under 3.5 runs. I apologize. They're the underdog. Under 3.5 runs against the Astros tomorrow, minus 125. Right? As many profitable bets as possible. Kind of diversifying my portfolio of bets. Like, again, that's literally how I think about it. It sounds crazy, but it's true. All of my plays have a mathematical edge. We're finding value. I know not every bet's going to win, but I know because I have an edge, I'll win long term. So it's just kind of like, okay, let's find some good, bets. So anyways, we can start building another PrizePicks slip because why not? A lot of these plays we've used a few times too. So trying to give out different options, you don't necessarily have to tail everything exactly. You may be happy, you may not be. We'll see at the end of this weekend. But we can take a look at some of these other plays. So we can go here. We can go to Yeps. So again, we had him already over 33. TMB, I mean, meh. Bo Collins, like, I don't want to sit here and dwell about the same points. But again, sometimes what you can do is you can find some good, like still on PrizePicks, what I try to look for is things that make sense to pair together. So for example, if we're taking Justin Jefferson under in receptions, PrizePicks is a fixed payout website, right? They give you the same payout regardless of the picks you select. So if we're taking Jefferson's under, where is it? So like on this fantasy optimizer, if we're going to take Jefferson's under, it would be nice if there were a pair on like, Kirk Cousins under. Or as another example, right? Honestly, this is another good example, is if we're going to take, if we want to take Justin Fields to go over in passing yards, then it probably makes sense to take Cairo Santos over in kicking points, right? If Justin Fields has a great game and homie's putting up yards, then Cairo Santos is more likely to go over 4.5 kicking points, and PrizePicks is going to give us the same payout regardless of if we take overs or unders. So we definitely want to take this over. That actually seems really good. Like solid correlation at least to go with. And honestly, screw it. We'll fade Jefferson. I'll fade Jefferson. A lot of people, all the Jefferson dick riders can fade it, but we'll go with this. I mean, here we have an all NFL slip if we want to go with it. You could add in Josh Allen. Well, what else do we have? So no other, plays that look like they could be really correlated. I mean, if we wanted to, we could throw in like Dante Jackson over 3.5 tackles plus assists. Make a 6-pick entry. It doesn't really matter. When you break down the math behind 5 and 6-pick flex plays, you'll see for both, you have to win 54.2% of your picks to be profitable. So if you're winning 51% of your over-unders, if you can win these over-unders 54.2% of the time or more, you're going to make money. It doesn't matter if you're playing 5 or 6-pick flex plays. Anyways, so this slip seems pretty good. So let me get rid of Lamar. I did not mean to take Lamar. And what we can do is we can add in Dante Jackson, right? We want him over 3.5 tackles plus assists. Nope. Well, actually, I don't want this play. What am I saying? Because, that doesn't make sense with Tyler Lockett. We'd want to take Tyler Lockett's over. That's what would make sense. But anyways, what we can do is we can go to, Josh Allen over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I mean, whatever. You also don't have to include a play. You could just make it a 5 flex. Again, it doesn't matter at all, really. So we could go here. And they're still only going to give me $10, even though this is all NFL. Absolute bullshit. They say limited to 25, but then they only let me bet 10 anyways. So here we have another one. All plays seem solid, have an edge on PrizePicks. Yeah, my favorite NFL team is the Washington Commanders because I'm from Washington, D.C. or Virginia. But anyways, we can go back here. We can go to Fliff. We can... Honestly, it may be the Commander season. So you can see here, it's like, Cairo Santos, all the sportsbooks have as over favored. I mean, I don't want to dwell on the same points. I'm sure there's some value on this play on Bo Collins is still available, over 4.5 receptions, on Underdog. Oh my God. Man, you think you want to go to bed, but there's always so many bets. I mean, look at this on ParlayPlay. The board is just super wet. So what we can do is we can go here. Let's go to rushing yards. And again, like, you can do this for any sports book. There's a lot of discrepancies on Hot Streak. We've already just stumbled upon some between FanDuel and DraftKings, like that girl Brittany, or what's her name? Betnijah Laney, right? Her line's already starting to move. FanDuel had her line -113, -113. Now they added more juice towards the under. Right? You can see, like, they're highlighting, the line moved. Anyways, what we can do, let me just scoot this screen in a bit. It doesn't look like you can see my full screen. But anyways, what we can do is we can look here. I mean, damn. Right? Like, I don't even know what they're doing, right? It's like every other, I don't understand why this is so hard for books, but you literally have dozens of data points. All these sports books telling you Bijan's line should be at 65.5, 67.5, but all these books want to set lines independently, and ParlayPlay is just casually throwing up a 72.5. That's crazy. We want to take the under, right? And then we have Goff under 270.5. So, although we do want to think, right, these two players are playing against each other. So we want to consider, like, what's the correlation between these? 270.5, So we can actually take a look into this. So if you go to the NFL, you usually can see. So if we go to the Lions game, so for example, right, like FanDuel has the same odds on Goff's over and his under. So we're debating taking Bijan's under and Jared Goff's under in passing yards. So you can see if you take Jared Goff's over and Bijan's under, you're getting plus 246 odds. If you change it to a second under, you're getting plus 248 odds, so a little bit better, but just very slightly, right? Plus 248. So usually when things are correlated, you'll see like big moves in the odds. So like very simple example, if you take, Jared Goff over in, passing yards, and you take him over in passing TDs, right, plus 155, versus if you take him under in passing yards, even though the odds are the same on the over and the under, the odds on your parlay changes from plus 155 to plus 292. Because obviously if Goff throws over 1.5 passing TDs and he throws under 262.5, anyways, I'm talking too much. So what we can do is we can go back here and we could take, long story short, this play on Goff, it's like, maybe take it, maybe don't. But let's look at some of these other plays, right? It looks like there's some other rushing plays. So let's go back here. Rashad White, right? So you can see here, it's like, once again, I mean, it's very simple, right? Find value in the market, find an edge, rinse and repeat. Parlay play 50.5, rest of the board, rest of the market at 46.5. It's like, okay, that seems like a slam. And again, what's cool about Parlay Play is every day they have this like bump the line promo. So you can bump the line in your favor. So like, let's say, we want to take his under. They'll let us bump the line in our favor, right? So like, we want to bet him under 50.5 yards. If you want to, and you can only do this once per day, once every 24 hours, whatever it is, you can only do it for like $20, but again, like obviously it just helps you get a little more value, which is a good thing. This play seems good. James Conner, under 17.5 receiving yards. Very similar reasoning. So here we go. And again, on Underdog, you'll see me do 3 pick entries. You're getting a 6x payout. Parlay play, it's only 5x, so we skip it over more. So we'll finish it out. But another thing, too, is like, if you use DraftKings and Fliff, you can see on the OddsJam arbitrage tool, arbitrage means risk-free profits. So when the sports books, when their models, when their odds get so out of sync, you can bet an over on one book, in this case DraftKings, right? When these books are super, super out of sync, you can bet an over on one book and under on another book and make a risk-free profit. So like Curtis Samuel to score a TD to not score a TD. I mean, you can kind of go through the math yourself, but it's called arbitrage betting. It's actually how I started out sports betting. But like if you bet 250 on Fliff on Curtis Samuel to not score a TD at minus 435 odds, and you bet $53 on DraftKings on him to score a TD, you would make $4 in risk-free profit. And it's not like sexy, right? But it's, 2 minutes of work. All you do is you go over to DraftKings, you go to TD scores, you go to Curtis Samuel, and it's like, okay, like you pull this up, right? You lock it in according to what the calculator says, and you can round your number obviously slightly if you want to, or you can put in your stake on, one of the sports books. So DraftKings 52.50 on Fliff, we can round to 245. You'll make a risk-free profit of roughly $4. So you just like go here, place your bets. It literally is like 2 seconds of work, and then you just go to the same thing on Fliff. So arbitrage is how I started out sports betting. I just don't have access to a lot of sports books right now. I don't have access to DraftKings. Otherwise, I would be all over this strategy. But anyways, let's continue going through. So there's a lot of plays. So like this play on Dalton Schultz, I mean, I'll kind of give you an example. Or same thing with this play on James Conner. It's like, okay, you can see OddsJam is saying the sports books have the line at, 33.5 for Dalton Schultz. Parlay plays at 34.5. So you may be like, oh, 34.5 versus 33.5 yards. That's not as big of a difference. But what you have to remember is juice matters. All you have to do to be profitable on Parlay Play, so I can actually pull this up. On Parlay Play, you only have to win, basically, they have better payouts than PrizePicks. You only have to win like 53% of your picks to be profitable. So for this play on Dalton Schultz, on top of getting an extra yard of value, Parlay Play has his line at 34.5, DraftKings at 33.5. Go here, right? As you're going to see, they have the under heavily favored. They have the under 33.5 as a minus 145 favorite, right? So again, every odd has an associated probability. A lot of people, they don't, fully understand, like, what does it mean when a team is, if you go to the NFL, right? Like, what does it mean if a team is, minus 375? The Ravens are minus 375. What does that mean? That means the market is telling you they're 78.95% to win the game, right? Like, there's a difference. Minus 200 is 2-1 betting favorite, means 2/3 to win, right? So minus 278 favorite is between a 2-1 and a 3-1 favorite, which means between 66 and 75% to win. So minus 278, what does that mean? Is 73.54% to win. So again, minus 300 means a 3-1 betting favorite, means 75% to win. So minus 278 is they're close to 75% to win. Minus 650 is crazy, right? 6.5 to 1 favorite. So that means 86.67% to win. But anyways, minus 145. So on Parlay Play, all you have to do to be profitable is win your bets 53.2% of the time. They have this line. They have Schultz favored to go under. Minus 145, 59.18%, right? Granted, that's with juice. But on top of that, we're getting an extra yard of value on Parlay Play because we're getting his under 34.5. And with their promo, we could bump it to under 35.5 if we wanted to. So, damn. There's some college football plays. Damn. So we can go here to Brennan Armstrong, under 251.5. So again, if you don't, so all unders, like, it's not that I'm in love with the idea of betting all unders, but if that's where the value is, I guess that's what we'll be betting on. So like Ryan Tannehill, right? It's like all the other books. FanDuel has him 10 yards lower at 197.5. I mean, it's literally crazy. And this isn't even all the bets. There's a lot more bets on ParlayPlay. And again, I included in the pinned comment, there's a free trial for OddsJam, 2 weeks free if you want to give it a try. Just betting with data, you'll make more money. But anyways, if we go here, so you can see here, right, like ParlayPlay is a better platform than PrizePicks because they give you a little bit higher payouts, right? You compare ParlayPlay, right, to PrizePicks. You'll notice if you go 5 for 6, you get 2.5x on ParlayPlay. You only get 2x on PrizePicks. So obviously, this stuff really matters long term. Yo, what's up, guys? So anyways, what we can do is we can lock this in. Please enable location services. You fucking kidding me? So anyways, let's go back to ParlayPlay and let's lock it in. And what I want to do as well is let's change this back to just showing Chrome. We got down some fluff bets, so I want to do that and I want to do this. Okay, so that should work. And let's go back here. And a little annoying, I mean, it seems like their location capture never works, but we can go to Bijan, we can take him under 72.5. We can go to White and we can take him under 50.5. Again, every play has value, has an edge. You're never going to hear me just wake up one day and say, fuck it, I decided to place some bet. I like making money, so that's what I do. And when you follow the data, which never lies, and you just follow the market, you'll always win, right? You'll always win long term. You're not going to win every single bet. There's no locks in sports betting. But anyways, we got 6 unders that we are going to be going with. So we got Adam Armstrong under 251.5, beautiful. And then we have Ryan Tannehill under 207.5. So let's just make sure none of these picks are from the same game. Anyone in the Browns game? No. So this is beautiful, right? So we can go ahead, we can lock it in. And that's a beauty. And I'm sure there's, more bets. There's more arbitrage bets as well. Like you can see here, there's a lot on touchdown scores. There have been the past few weeks, between DraftKings and Fliff. Like I was only at home for, hopefully you guys can see the bet slip on ParlayPlay. But what I was going to say is I was only at home for I was only in Virginia for 5 days or something, and there's a lot of arbitrage opportunities if you're afraid of getting started, sports betting, but you think you can make money, but you want to make money. Like arbitrage is a great way to start. It's how I started sports betting. It's risk-free profit, due to discrepancies in where books are setting their lines. So, and I have a bunch of examples about it, a bunch of articles and stuff like that. I'm sure I can find some. But anyways, what we can do is we can go back here. We can go back to ParlayPlay. I mean, they had other good lines as well. Like this play on Jared Goff, we didn't include it in the last one because the correlation with Bijan was a little unclear. But what we can do is we can possibly include it this time around. So in general, going with 6 pick entries on this platform, right? So Rashad White, we already went with. So now it's like what sucks is, again, the hard part isn't making money. The hard part is, these books only give you max betting sizes of $60 per player, or at least on Underdog Fantasy, Underdog, they give me 100. ParlayPlay, they give me, whatever. $60 max bet size per player, which sucks. I can't bet more on the plays I want to. So we can build a final slip. Chez's line. I feel like I already bet this, but it's hard to remember. Again, I'm trying to get down volume. Like I explained this in a lot of videos, but a lot of people will be like, oh, can I only place one bet a day? Why can't I just spend a bunch of time researching? It's like you're never going to be able to see the future, and know what's going to happen. So it's all about finding an edge, right? Nobody can see the future. Nobody's going to win every bet, right? It's all about finding plays with a mathematical edge, right? Like when I was a trader, that's the word we used. It was called an edge. You're looking for an edge in the market that you can quantify. And so here, if you look at like Brian Robinson, for example, it's like we're looking at taking him under 58.5 rushing yards, right? We know on parlay play, we have to win our prop bets 53.2% of the time to be profitable. So if this pick is winning 53.2% of the time or more, it's a profitable bet to go with. So how do we figure that out? Well, take a look at Caesars. They have the line at 56.5, so even lower, right? So we're getting 2 extra yards of value. So if we bet this on Caesars, if he has 57 or 58 rushing yards, right, we would win our under on parlay play. We would have lost on Caesars. And again, these things really matter long term. And Caesars has the under as a minus 135 favorite, right? They have the under juiced all the way to minus 135. So they're telling you, hey, the under is 57.45% to win, right? So like long story short, according to Caesars in the market, the odds they're putting out, this play looks like a no-brainer. Ooh, baby. So, we can kind of take a look here. Any other plays that we want to fall in love with? Mike Evans, damn. Crazy. Parlay play has more discrepancies. If you don't use parlay play yet, my refer a friend code is just ALEXM. Where's Mike Evans? There we go. So again, it's crazy. It's crazy how inefficient this market is. I mean, I'm sure if you're used to it, because it's not counterintuitive. Like, why should it matter what platform I'm, betting on? It's not intuitive. It's like, what bank account should I use? Chase or Wells Fargo? It doesn't really matter. But in sports betting, again, because the market is so inefficient and all these books have different lines from one another, like you can see here, under 58.5 versus the entire rest of the market has his line at 53.5 or 54.5 on PrizePicks. Parlay play is just casually sitting at 54.5, as you can see on the sportsbook screen. It's like, what are they doing? It's crazy. Huge discrepancy on Mac Jones. I mean, we are just all over the unders. I feel bad for how many unders we're taking, but hey, if that's where the value is, that's where the value is. Anyways, let's make sure this stream is still working. I didn't day trade at home. I was a trader. I worked as a trader at a hedge fund. So anyways, you can see here Mac Jones, his line is 219.5 on parlay play. Where does Caesars have his line? So Caesars, is just one of the sports books we can pull up. There's tons of sports books, but if you take a look here at Caesars, where do they have his line? Right, they have his line at 218.5 with the under heavily favored. Right, minus 151 favorite, 1.5 to 1 favorite. So 1.5 to 1 favorite means 60% to win. So I mean, this is a crazy edge on parlay play. So Nico Collins under 58.5. So we are just all over this. I mean, are any of these plays from the same game? I don't even think any of these plays are from the same game, so I don't think we have any correlation to, worry about. Which is just crazy. So we can actually just go with a 5-pick entry here. Again, 5-pick entries are very similar to 6-pick entries, kind of like PrizePicks. Oh, I already hit my limit on Nico Collins, so I'm actually gonna need another pick. So we could go with Justin Fields again. I mean, 171.5 passing yards. Give me a break. We got to take that boy over. They're going to be down the whole game too, most likely. Weaver under 94.5 too. We could take. I'm not sure if I already bet this. Man, I'm all over. I love fading players on Colorado. So here again, if you want to use the ParlayPlay discount, I'm recommending you take his over 171.5. There's good value, right? FanDuel has his line where? If we go here to the Bears game, right? It's like they have him 11 yards higher. Like, that's valuable information. That's how you want to think as a sports bettor. And if you want to, you could bump him down to 166.5, but let's just lock this in. So there we have another play with an edge. So again, like when I'm betting, typically I'm just like, okay, like, depending on where I'm located, if I'm in Virginia, where all the sports books are legal, not all, but DraftKings, FanDuel, PrizePicks. So you get like the PrizePicks of the world, the ParlayPlays of the world, the underdogs, but you also get, traditional sports books. I just kind of look around. Like, I'll start out like, okay, like what no-brainer promos are there today, right? Like on every Tuesday, PrizePicks has Taco Tuesday. So it's like, okay, that's easy value. And you can quantify the profit margin of some of those promos. Some of them are really good. Like DraftKings has a risk-free bet. If you lose your bet, you get your money back, right? That's obviously a good promo. If you lose your bet, you get your money back. So a lot of times promos you can start out on, and then arbitrage is just risk-free money, right? If you use DraftKings and Fliff, Fliff has a max bet size of $250, so I would highly recommend you go here to DraftKings. Literally just follow the calculator, and you can go through the math. If you bet $52.50, well, we can go back to PrizePicks too. We can go back to PrizePicks here in a bit, but right, if we want to go through the math very briefly behind arbitrage, so it's crazy. This is how I got hooked on sports betting. So if you just follow this calculator and round this to, let's say, 245, you could follow it exactly, but I like to round the numbers to not freak out the sports books too much. So DraftKings has Samuel to score a TD at plus 475. We want to bet 52.50. I'm not sure why it's saying 53 because that's not what I'm trying to do. 52.50. And then Fliff has him to not score a touchdown at minus 435. So we have a huge discrepancy between the books. Such a big discrepancy that you can bet the over on one book, the under on another book, and guarantee a risk-free profit, right? That's arbitrage betting. So there's two options, right? And this, all you need to do, you don't even have to understand math. You just have to follow the calculator. 52.50, let's say that's your bankroll on DraftKings, bet 245 on Fliff. You make $4 risk-free. Again, it doesn't seem that great, but this is 20 seconds of work. Like, this is literally no work. I used to get home from work and hit 55 arbitrage bets some nights. Seriously, I would get home from work. I had my sportsbook accounts logged into. You navigate the books. So if he scores a touchdown on DraftKings, we're up 52.50, right, times 4.75. And on Fliff, we're down $245, right? Like, this is our profit. We bet 52.50 at plus 475 odds. So our profit is 52.5 times 4.75, right? We lose $245 on Fliff. We bet $245 on him not to score a TD at minus 435 odds, but we make $4 profit, right? if he doesn't score a TD, right, we lose 5,250 on DraftKings. We bet 5,250 on him to score a TD, right, at plus 475 odds, just following this calculator. And 245 times 100 over 435, right? We're up $56 on flip. So our profit is $4 no matter what, which is basically what you can kind of see in this calculator. So it may take a sec to, you know, wrap your head around, but that's kind of how it works. Oh, shit. So this play seems really good on Jock Market. Where did it go? So look at this play. Like, this play is available on Jock Market. If you go here, Black 1, right? It's like, what are they doing? Jock Market has this line at 31.5, Underdog 34.5, PrizePicks 34.5, Hot Streak 32.5, right? More books you got, the better. So that play seems really good on Jock Market. And again, we can go back to Fliff too. Fliff is one of the only sports books. Like, I wish FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars were legal in California. There's a lot of really good bets on these platforms. Like, check out this, right? Western Michigan, Toledo. You're getting this line at plus 105 on Caesars. Every other book is pricing this. Like Pinnacle, sharpest bookmaker out there, they have the under favored. Bet Online, probably the second sharpest bookmaker out there, they have this line at minus 115. All the books have the under favored, and we're getting it at plus money. We're getting a favored outcome at underdog odds. That's pretty great. So anyways, we can go back here. What up, guys? Yo, like the stream. Appreciate it, man. Humanity Unbound. Yeah, exactly. I started out arbing and then I got into plus EV betting. Arbitrage is just, you know, taking advantage of inefficiencies in the market to lock in a risk-free profit. But it's less fun, right? I started out arbitrage betting. Arbitrage betting is what made me realize I could consistently beat the sports books. And then I kind of got fine with losing some bets. Arbitrage, you never lose. You always win. It's risk-free money, right? But just you're making $4 or $5 at a time. But anyways, what we can do is we can go to PrizePicks and we can take a look at some of the lines. So I assume it's going to be some of the same lines. I mean, if anyone is just tuning in, here's what we locked in on PrizePicks. I assume some of these same plays are available. Here we have good correlation between Fields and Santos. Here's what we locked in on ParlayPlay. And here's what we locked in on Underdog Fantasy. Right? All plays really good, right? So like Freeze, for example. PrizePicks, so one play. I mean, we got a lot of good looking plays, but from this specific live stream, 6 picks here. 6 picks here. A lot of them are roughly similar, but anyways. Sam Hartman under 250 half. Not sure. Damn. So Justin Fields, like these two plays honestly seem best, right? Justin Fields over, Cairo Santos over. If Justin Fields has a great game, Bears are more likely to put up points. Pretty simple. So anyways, what we can do is we can go to the NFL. Again, these lines are always moving. Sometimes you can stumble upon gold. I really do think the best play on the board is Bijan, no touchdown. After looking through the data, Tyreek Hill is still good. It's not as good as last week. And I know last week it lost. I lost a lot of money from it losing. Brock Purdy, under 8.5 rushing yards. He had -1. That's great. That's great. We were all over that play on PrizePicks as well. Purdy, under 8.5 rushing yards. Just cashed in a bunch of slips. And obviously it sucks because PrizePicks limited me now to $10 max bet sizes. So I'm basically just betting them for these live streams. PrizePicks is also fun, but not the same as it's going to be when we had $500 bet sizes. But that's just how it goes sometimes. Underdog, I have a max betting limit of $100 at this point. Just kind of how it goes. But what we can do is we can go here, and maybe we can find some positively correlated plays. Right? So, again, Justin Fields, Cairo Santos, those are great plays, right? Buccaneers game. So like this is just a lot of the same picks I'd personally take. So if I were to put down a huge slip, on PrizePicks right now, again, I literally can't. I promise you I would be Santos over, Bijan under. Like this seems like it would be the top play. Positive correlation here. We have this play on Bijan, ridiculously good if you check the sportsbook screen. And then if we want to look for other NFL plays on PrizePicks, it really would be, I guess, Jefferson under, Allen over. Where are you, baby? Allen over, Jefferson under. Right? And I never will switch it up. I'll never just be like, I decided not to follow the data and follow math and logic. That's not going to happen. So this would be what I'd go with. Or Allen over 1.5 passing TDs. You kind of have options. And screw it, if we wanted to create a 6 pick. Again, this is just a lot of the same picks. You can kind of optimize if you really think you know football, whatever, and I acknowledge people can have a different betting approach than me. I follow a very data-driven approach. You don't have to follow a super data-driven approach. It's going to help you. It's going to help you win more slips. It's going to help you make money. But if you really like Bijan this weekend, it doesn't mean we're at war with one another. Just skip it over or find a different pick to go with. But it's like the concept behind beating PrizePicks is very clear-cut, like how to get an edge on PrizePicks, how to win on PrizePicks long-term. So anyways, here would be 2 positively correlated plays, 6 positive EV NFL plays. What up, guys? Where's rush attempts? I don't even see. So let's go here. So we can go to rushing attempts from Mahomes. I'm not sure why I haven't seen this play, though. Why it hasn't popped up on OddsJam. Damn. Is this line on PrizePicks? I don't even think OddsJam is reading it in. So what we could do is we could go here. Mahomes. Damn. Good catch. This play looks great. I didn't even see it. Or OddsJam's not reading it in for some reason, so that's good to know. But all the books have Mahomes heavily favored to go over 3.5 rushing attempts. Underdog has his line higher at 4. Yeah, this play seems great. Good catch. Although, I don't really want to include it with the Bears overs. Because, again, those things, if the Bears have the ball more, Mahomes is going to oh, shit. But what I can include it with is if we go here to the fantasy optimizer, is you'll see, is we have Butker over 7.5 kicking attempts. This is beautiful. Right? This. Right? So if Mahomes... So what do we have? Bijan's under, Lockett's under. Perfect. Right? If Mahomes is rushing the ball a lot, then the Chiefs are going to have possession longer. They're more likely to put up points. Harrison Butker is more likely to have kicking points. And you can see this play on Harrison Butker's right here. Why is this play profitable? Again, it's very simple. Like, we go to the Chiefs game. PrizePicks is a platform. They don't change our payout based on us selecting over versus under. So what we can do is we can go here. We can go to the Chiefs game, right? And you can just take a look at kicking props. If you just want to sanity check yourself, it's like, okay, like kicking points, his over is heavily favored, right? You're following this market data. So anyways, what we can do is we can put, max winnings on a single pick is $1,000. They're such little bitches. So I think that means Bijan got to go. And we'll have to put Allen in. So let's see if this works. So now it lets me bet $25. This platform is so strange with their betting limits. So we have Butker over. That looks good with Mahomes, right? This looks solid. So what we could also do is if you just want to diversify a bit, right? You could take Josh Allen, right? You could move him. And we could take his, his rushing yards also looked pretty good. So we could take him, over 29.5 rushing yards. So now it's going to say the same thing. Honestly, I don't even know why I bother with this platform anymore sometimes. They don't want my action. They don't want it. It's like the girlfriend who hates you. It's not fun. So here we can see Underdog Fantasy is dropping WNBA lines. Sabrina's line is 18.5 here, right? I mean, here's a middle betting opportunity. Take advantage of the sportsbook's earlier lines. If we go here, we go to the Liberty game, right? 16.5. That's a big discrepancy. 2 points around a key number where her distribution is centered around 16.5 versus 18.5. Big deal. So, what we could do is take a look here. A lot of these I've already bet. Again, I typically skip over these ones where there's just a discrepancy between two sports books. Honestly, I'm pretty tired at this point. So let's just call it a day. We hit a ton of bets. I mean, we hit some on PrizePicks. Boom, 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 boom. So we hit some on PrizePicks. Underdog. This play, Bo Collins, really good. If you're not on it yet, I think it's still available. So again, like on Underdog, you got to win, like 55. It's another one of these platforms where they don't change your payout based on you selecting over versus under, right? You're always getting a 3x payout for 2-pick entries. I would slam the shit for more, but again, I'm only able to bet $100 max per player. But if you take a look right here, let's go to NCAF receptions, right? Is all the books have him heavily favored to go over, right? Like minus 165 on flip. So he's a huge favorite to go over, right? So that's why this pick is a sharp pick. You definitely don't want to take his under. You definitely want to go with his over. That's a really sharp pick that you can go with on Underdog Fantasy. And again, there's a lot of good bets on FanDuel as well. Some tennis bets. Mac Jones over 218.5 plus 110. We already hit this Royals one. Clear value from the OddsJam positive EV tool. All this tool does is scan the market and point out value. There's really nothing complicated about it.